Guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Have the round 4 showdown picks here for you. Also going to be doing that round 3 recap. There's some fun with round 3 there actually. And I hope you guys took a look at the tee times prior to submitting your lineups for the round 3 showdown, because, you know, one thing I did mention in yesterday's video is that the earlier tee times are going to have the advantage. It turned out that they actually did send off some players on that 10th tee. Those are the players that are like in 51st place, where they actually sent off the first group that was like T36 or so. So like Hank Lebioda was the first golfer to tee off. So I would assume that that's going to be the approach that they go with here for round 4 as well. So definitely make sure to check the tee times before you end up submitting your showdown build, okay? So one thing you have to do, because it does look like there is going to be a little bit of a weather advantage for those early tee times. So if you have someone that could potentially catch the rest of the field, make up for those points that they would lose out on, essentially, you know, for the placement points for the round 4 showdown, you know, that'd be a player that you would want to target. So I'll get into that a little bit more here. Just wanted to lead off with that. So let's get into it. All right, but first, you know, just kind of recapping that round 3, Jordan Spieth with this excellent shot here, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. Freaking hold out for eagle to take the co-lead, and then Daniel Berger choked on hole 18 with a double bogey, hit it out of bounds. Honestly, that's the game of golf right there. Jordan Spieth probably gets a little bit lucky with this eagle shot, and then Daniel Berger, I don't know if you guys saw it, but his tee shot was literally like 3 inches from being in play. That's kind of just how the game of golf goes. 4-shot swing there, really, with kind of a lucky eagle and then an unlucky break there for Daniel Berger. But then there's also this gem from freaking Francesco Molinari. Ooh, yikes there. You can't, just rough there as a whole. And then I'll just show, you know, my recent TikTok here with Phil Mickelson while I'm talking about round 3 and kind of what we want to see. So round 3, really the only disappointment was, you know, Will Zalatoris was a bit of a disappointment. Scott Piercy did well, but, you know, those guys didn't end up having that tee time advantage that we thought that they would. A player that I ended up on a ton was actually Kevin Streelman. Kevin Streelman was an anchor for a lot of my builds. A little bit lucky there. I kind of just ended up on him as like the 3rd player in my builds. Just a good spot for him, for a guy that I really like this week. And we'll touch on kind of the players I'll end up on here right now. So kind of let's get into it. We'll look at the leaderboard, have it pulled up so we can see. Let's just click out of these bad boys. So we can see, just, you know, based off the leaderboard, you know, Tom Hoge, you know, kind of not exactly surprising there. You know, he's a strong in round 3 scoring, strong in round 4 scoring. So not entirely surprising that he went off and, you know, had a good day. Same thing for Russell Knox, guys. It's no surprise that he is, you know, right up there in 2nd place. He's 3rd in round 3 scoring, so really not shocking there. Nate Lashley, he kind of struggled down the stretch, unfortunately there. But let's see kind of which players can we expect to potentially make a push here in round 4. All right. Oh, I need to sort it by whoever made the cut. All right, now we got it. So Brandon Grace, Francesco Molinari, Henrik Norlander. So this is an interesting tidbit for Henrik Norlander. So he had his regression day today for round 3. You know, he ranked 87th in round 3 scoring, and he fell off. He fell off today. And I just want to mention this as well. He's currently -8. Where I'm pulling in my data from, they haven't updated this number just yet, although where he's currently placed and whatnot is correct. But, you know, -8, he struggled today. He has a regression day. So that means to me that tomorrow he should have a much better round, got away from that regression, and, you know, he should just have a much better round. As we can see, it's been his best round so far this year. So honestly, I don't mind him as a play. Let me check his DraftKings price point here for you guys. Norlander, you know, 9.5, that is a decent price there, but I don't mind it. He's been a strong, you know, round 4 scorer really for a while now. So yeah, Norlander, I think he's going to be firmly in play for us as a play. Once again, though, he doesn't have that tee time advantage that I'm kind of expecting. I'm expecting around like the 34 range to have maybe that slight tee time advantage. But once again, check in the morning, maybe just reserve your contest and then check in the morning to see, who actually has the early tee time advantage. And, if it's one of these players I'm talking about that can potentially go off, maybe target those guys. But just looking it over, who could potentially make a run? So Kevin Streelman, I'm probably going to go back to the well with Kevin Streelman as well. Fourth best in the field in round 4 scoring. He's a guy that, could go off and make a run. He was one of my favorite plays this week, ranked 4th in the model. So it wouldn't be shocking to see him, maybe go 4 under and, push for a nice little top 5 finish. So I could easily see that with Kevin Streelman. Someone like Matthew Naismith, Chris Kirk, those are decent plays, both top 25 in the model. Matthew Naismith, he really just had that first bad start to his round or to his tournament. Other than that, if you take away those first 3 bogeys that he made on the first 3 holes before he got settled in, he'd be tied with Kevin Streelman right now for 13th place. So easily he could have a good round. Maverick McNeely, he could be a decent play. Matt Jones was one of my favorite players. He was just a safe play to make the cut, but I expect him to have a much better round this round. 38, Jim Furyk could push, Scott Stallings, Patton Kizzire. So Patton Kizzire is very interesting. So he struggled in round 3. Not surprising though. We look at that 107th in round 3 rank. Yeah, that's been his worst round. So not shocking that he, struggled. I would expect him to regress a little bit more though and have a better round here in round 4. That wouldn't be shocking at all. Patrick Cantlay, he could potentially close this out. He missed a lot of small putts. Just was not putting well. I expect him to have a much better putting round. So he's another guy where he could maybe contend. Well, obviously he could contend, but if he drops a couple of those putts, he's right there. So I don't mind Kizzire there as well. So let's just kind of look at down here as well. Let me click off of Patrick Cantlay there. So let's just kind of look at, we really need to kind of nail it down here. Let's do top 26. And then we'll kind of do sort it by round 4, obviously. And see which players could potentially, make that push. We already kind of did that, but I'm going to include the model as well, the model ranking. So Henrik Norlander, once again, don't be surprised if he has a much better round 4. Kevin Streelman, I like Maverick McNeely, Matthew Naismith, Jim Furyk, Scott Stallings, Patrick Cantlay, Cameron Tringali. Those are the guys that are really kind of popping just right off the bat here looking at it. But we'll kind of sort it here a little bit more. We'll go into like the top 12 model rank wise and see who pops up. So Kevin Streelman, Matthew Naismith, Scott Stallings, Jim Furyk, Patrick Cantlay, Daniel Berger, Sam Burns, and Russell Knox. So Sam Burns is one of those guys. Where is he at right now? So 25th. He's one of those guys who actually might get that early tee time advantage, and he's a guy that could easily go out and have a decent round 4. Obviously, his round 4 rank isn't that good in comparison to like kind of all the other model rank players, but if he gets that tee time advantage, he won't be that bad. But Daniel Berger, I really don't expect him to finish well. We kind of just saw him on 18th kind of choke there. So don't be shocked if he kind of finished poorly. But Patrick Cantlay I'm looking at, Jim Furyk, Scott Stallings, Matthew Naismith, Kevin Streelman. Once again, you do want to look at the tee time in the morning. Reserve your contest, look in the morning. Because personally, I did that. I entered 2 lineups. I did one based off of what I was assuming would be the tee time advantage. And then I looked this morning and I was like, oh, okay, we're got like a little bit different tee time advantage because the players going off are a little bit different. So like Hank Leviota, I ended up on Kevin Streelman, like I mentioned, Jason Day as well, that was lucky as well. He was the last player in my build, but he played well. Matthew Naismith then became like a core play for me. Obviously I only played 2 liners, but he was in both of them. So definitely you do have to look in the morning. And then let's just see here. So Jordan, I kind of just want to look at, let's just reset this. I kind of want to look and see which players just in the top 10 right now are expected to choke and not choke. Oh, we'll do top 13, 14, whatever. So players in the top 14 currently. just sorted by round 4 rank. So Will Gordon, expect him to drop off. Maybe Paul Casey, although he does play better in these windy conditions. He didn't really have a great round this round, so I would expect him to actually probably play a little bit better in round 4. There's no real pressure on him, and I think that's probably the biggest difference, is that he has been contending in tournaments lately where, right now he would have to go pretty low, so it's kind of going to be a stress-free round for him. It's just a matter of, getting the best finish for him. Max Homa, he went out and had a great round. He's 28th in round 3 scoring, so that makes sense. Same thing with Russell Knox, where those two are probably going to have a worse round. You could probably bet against that too if you're looking for some sort of bets. Daniel Berger, once again, worried about him. Jordan, don't be surprised if he closes us out. It just won't surprise me. Tom Hoagie could contend, but I kind of expect Patrick Cantlay to maybe go out and steal this one. But Kevin Streelman, Henrik Norlander, I'm kind of expecting those two to make a push, make a little Sunday push. But make sure to check out the video I'll have on Sunday doing the course preview for the Genesis Open. I'm so excited that it's actually an open event and not a invitational, because we get those extra added players in the field, so it's a little bit exciting. So make sure to check that out. Please give me a like and subscribe. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing. All right, I'm out.